Tov. Good morning, everyone. Today we begin studying the Torah portion of Naso. And the word Naso literally means to elevate, to raise up. The opening words of the parsha says, Naso et Rosh. You should raise up the heads of the members of the tribe of Gershom. And what the Torah is telling us is that the word Naso means to raise up, but the word Naso also has other meanings. First of all, the word Naso means to forgive. Nosei avon, God forgives iniquity. So the word Naso means to elevate, it also means to forgive. It also can mean to carry. V'nasa'u, they shall lift and they shall carry together. What the Torah is telling us, perhaps, is that when we deal with other people, we have to humble ourselves before other people by raising up the other person. Not trying to self-aggrandize ourselves over them, but rather to raise them up, and that is the way together we can carry our responsibilities jointly. There's a famous verse by King Solomon in the book of Proverbs where he says, Kamayim hapanim al panim, kein lev adam al lev adam. Just like when you look into water, you see your reflection in the water, so too one heart of one human being reflects the heart of another human being. So therefore, when you raise up others, then automatically they raise you up. When you forgive others, they're forgiving towards you. When you carry with others the burdens of life, they reciprocate and carry with you. And so the key to every relationship is to realize that the way you act towards others, that's the same reflection, like looking in the water, that you're going to see back towards yourself. What you want from others is the way you should treat them. That's the way you're going to have them treat you in return. And therefore, don't elevate yourself over someone else to try to feel important. On the contrary, raise them up, and automatically they will raise you back up, and you will feel elevated through the act of raising them up. And here the Baal Shem Tov gives a very interesting insight. He says there's something deeper here. It says, like a person's reflection is in the water, so too one human heart is to another human heart. So he says when you stand in front of a lake, let's say of water, a body of water, your shadow in the water looks very large. If you start bending down, your shadow gets smaller. The closer you get to the water, the smaller the shadow gets. And to one point, when you're all the way bent down, you no longer see the shadow in the water anymore. And he said the same thing is with human beings. When you stand tall and proud in the face of another person, they reciprocate and they start acting tall and proud. But when you humble yourself towards another person, they automatically humble themselves towards you. And the more you humble yourself towards that person, the more they humble themselves, till it comes a point that the two people merge. Just like your reflection is no longer seen in the water because you become one with your reflection, you become one with that person. And that's the message of Naso. Our job in life is always to lift people up, to always say positive things about other people. And when we do that, we create a ripple effect in communities and families and societies by sharing positive words. But most of all, it comes back to us, because one heart reflects another heart, and by being complimentary and positive and accentuating the good in others, then they in return feel motivated to do the same. I'll just conclude. There was a guy, I forgot his name, but he was once riding in a car with his friend, and he was complimenting the taxi driver throughout the ride. He was saying the nicest things. Boy, you got a tough job, the way you handle the stress of the traffic, it's amazing, you're really a great driver. He's like going on and on about this driver. So when he got out, his friend said to him, what was that all about? You know, like buttering up the taxi driver for 25 minutes, like what's in it for you? Like what are you doing? So he says, I'm trying to make the world a nicer place. So I try to be overly nice to people and point out all the good they do. So he says, that's how you're going to make the world a friendlier place, by being nice to one person? He says, no. He says, this taxi driver is going to pick up 20, 30, 40 people during the day. If he feels good about himself, he's going to make other people feel good about themselves. And he says, then all those people who rode in his taxi, they're going to get out of the taxi, go into their workplaces or into their homes. They're going to feel good about themselves because the taxi driver was really positive to them. They'll be more positive to their coworkers, to their spouses, to their children. And this ripple effect, those co-workers will go home to their families. And by being complimentary and positive, but not being fake, not being false flattery, but really genuinely noticing the good in other people, that one person will become an emissary that will have a ripple effect that will inspire many, many positive remarks and good deeds. And that's what the Torah portion says. If you want to lift people up, then when you do that, you raise all of ourselves up together, and it's not through a self-aggrandizement. There's a story of a Hasidic Rebbe. He saw his kids in the yard fighting who was taller. So one kid stood up on a box and says, "You see, I'm taller." So the other kid pushed the other kid down. Said, "No, I'm taller." So the Rebbe called his kids over and he said, "You don't make yourself taller by knocking someone else down. By lifting someone else up, that's the way you show your true greatness."